Okay, so let's have a look at these. We still want to be thinking about the strategies from yesterday all the time when you're doing identities, whether we're learning new identities or working on basic ones. So what do you guys think? Which side should we start on? You want the left, Parker? Okay. Kind of a toss-up on this one, which side to start on, I think. So there's a couple things we could do right now, I think. Only like two obvious options. One of them is probably not real obvious to you guys. But one of them is change to sine and cosine, right?
Yeah.
See, if I change to sine and cosine, then I'm gonna have to eventually like be changing stuff back into this.
Yeah.
So I think that'll work.
It makes it easier.
It might.
It does.
But for some problems, you have to be able to do this other strategy because there's not an easier way to do it, and that is use what? A clever one, yeah. Use a clever one right away, but what kind of clever one? Caleb? What? A conjugate, there you go. So I think this problem will probably be easiest if we use a conjugate. Let's see, I don't know. It's not like I did it in advance. So if I do that, then on the bottom, the whole reason of using a conjugate in the first place is so that you get like the cross terms to go away in a quadratic expansion. So you get that, minus cosecant plus cosecant go away. That's why we use the conjugate in the first place, minus 1. Then up on top we have cosecant of theta plus 1, and we can distribute that or not. I'm just going to leave it alone for now. Why do you think I might be leaving it alone?
Because the bottom turns into just cotangent.
Yes. So the bottom, I think, is something we want. You can distribute this, of course. See, I'm thinking about where I'm trying to get to, which is over here, and I'm like, whoa, I already have like the cosecant plus 1 part. You guys see it? So I'm just going to see if I can do something else. So this is a hard identity to remember, so let me just write that down for everybody else. So you typed it out, Parker. But sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. Honestly, I still mess this up every time. So if I remember that, oh, there's one for like cosecant squared, how do I make one of these be cosecant squared? Yeah, I make it right here, 1 over sine. So if I divide that side by 1 over sine, I've got to do it everywhere. And this is an argument you need to know. Unless you just want to memorize those for all time, I really don't trust that that's going to work for you. But you do what you like. It works for my wife and lots of other people. So cosecant squared 1, cosine over sine is cotangent squared. So that says cosecant squared, if I go like this, minus 1 is cotangent squared, just like Parker said. So we're going to have equals cosecant theta plus 1. And a cotangent divides out. You can already see it, right? So you always want to be looking at your goal. Once you're good at these, you'll be able to see these steps click, click, click a lot faster. So it takes practice. Gone, gone, and that's what we want. We should probably write it out one more time, just for clarity's sake. There we go. Okay, let's look at this other one. So you definitely probably could have gotten that with changing into sines and cosines. I bet it wouldn't have been as fast. Okay, obvious which side we should start with here, right? So left side. So what can we do with that? We want to get to 1 minus sine to the 4th. What do you guys think?
Where that sine squared and that cosine squared theta, and the number 2 is there, but that's also a thing. I just can't remember exactly.
Think about your strategies. What can you do? We've got that squared identity, right? The one I just had on the board a second ago. And this side has sines and cosines. This side just has sines. So you should probably like change these cosines into sines and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's my thought process. You guys get me? So this sine squared's already done. This cosine squared can be something else. What can it be? Mr. Freeberg, do you remember? Okay, if you don't remember, then you got to write it down. Yes. What about the cosine to the fourth power? We could do that squared. Very nice. Yeah. Let's do it. That's cosine squared squared. So cosines are made a mistake.
Yeah.
We wanted that version of cosine squared. My bad. Brain fart. Pencil marker fart. Too bad. You're the one playing video games.
I know, I just have to do this. I'm done now. I wasn't even paying attention. It was like a...
I guess you kind of were still answering questions, so I'll say that's impressive. I'll give you that. Right?
Yeah.
Did I make a mistake? We better make sure. First thing squared, last thing squared.
Plus 2 sine? Oh, no.
2 of that times that. So I think we're good there.
Yeah.
And we probably want to distribute here. At least we've got everything in terms of sign. I don't know, this is looking ugly.
It does make it easy.
I think it'll work.
And we do have
Those
our
will
sines to
cancel.
the fourth theta, and we
The
do
2
have our
sine
1
squared
minus
will
something.
cancel, give you the negative 1 plus sine, which is actually just...
Yeah, it's looking pretty good actually, right?
Yeah.
Like, got some like terms now. We can just say this one and this one are like terms. Those go to just 1 sine squared, negative sine squared, or sine to the fourth, I mean. And we want that, right?
Yeah, but that's fourth.
And then this and this
Those don't really exist.
just go away.
And then you have 1 minus.
Yep. So there you go. 1 minus sine to the fourth power. There it is. Notice the key step that you guys are going to want to focus on is what made this easy.
You were doing it.
Sine.
But the thing is, changing it to the sign is one thing. Like doing that should be pretty easy for you after a couple of problems. I had to think about it. That was what I needed to do, right? And that's the part that requires ingenuity, creativity. These are very creative type of problems. You got to think about where are you trying to go, how are you going to get there, and sometimes you're not going to know, and that's when you're just going to have to look at your strategies and try some things and erase if necessary and start over. A lot of the time, like I had a lot of trouble with these when I first learned them in pre-calc myself. I did a little bit of them in Algebra 2, but we did them a lot in pre-calc, and my wife was a lot better than me, and she'd just see them right away. Because she had a harder teacher, I think, and plus she's just better at it. I had to battle for a long time, but by the end of my pre-calc year, I was good. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and try a bunch of those different strategies if you don't see exactly what to do at first. I'll see you next time.